Hi there, my name is Ems Lord and I'm the Director of NRICH, which is the Mathematics Outreach Project based at the University of Cambridge, and we're a collaboration between the faculties of mathematics and the faculties of education. We focus on rich mathematics and we often talk about activities that are low threshold, high ceiling. So what I thought I'd do today is share what we mean by low threshold, high ceiling, look at an example and share some top tips for making the most of the low threshold, high ceiling activities on NRICH. So, why do low threshold, high ceiling? Well, I would say they're ideal when you're thinking about meeting the needs of your high attainers in your class. A low threshold activity is one that everyone in your class can get started on, and from a teaching point of view, that's ideal. You want things that everyone can have a go at. It's one of the hardest things when we do problem solving, getting them started, and a low threshold activity helps you do that. But what's the high ceiling about? Well, the high ceiling enables you to give your students a problem that they can then fly with. There might be multiple solutions, there might be multiple methods that they can deal with. So you can look at their efficiency, look at that communication, and you can extend them in lots of ways. And on the NRICH website, we've got plenty of hints and tips to enable you to do that. But before I talk about where all the teacher resources are, why don't we have a look at one of the activities and you can see for yourself what low threshold, high ceiling really means. So this activity is one of our favourites at NRICH and it's called Reach 100. The first thing you need to do is draw a 2x2 grid. So here goes. Once I've got my grid, I need to put in digits between 1 and 9, and I'm not allowed to repeat any of the digits in the box. So, quick check, I've not repeated any of the digits, but what I have got now is I've generated some 2-digit numbers. If we look at them horizontally, we've got 52 and 19. And if we look at them vertically, we've got 51 and 29. So far, it's low threshold, but where's the mathematics? Well, what we'd like them to do is add them together. That's the numbers going this way. And they're the numbers going this way. So whichever way they'd normally add their numbers, and if I've got my totals right, I believe we get 151. Now what we could do, and keeping it low threshold, is allow the students some time to practice their addition skills. What I'm hoping is you'll have some curious learners who might go, I wonder if, how about I wonder if I could reach 100. I choose the numbers in these cells, so the total is 100. Now have a think for a moment. How are we going to do that? How are these numbers working when we're adding them together? Because we've got 2 digits this way and 2 digits this way. We want to get to 100. That's an even number. So if I'm looking at the single digits, I've got a 2, a 9, a 1 and a 9. They're my ones. Now at the moment, I'm using those once and that one twice. And I need to get to an even number. So what do I need to think about in order to reach 100? So I need to think about these carefully. What about the tens? Well, when I'm looking at the tens, it's these digits. And going across and going down, I'm using this one twice. Well, although it's a 5, the value is 50. So I've got a 50 and a 50 already before I've done anything else. I'm not going to be able to reach 100 with a 5 there. I'm going to surpass 100. So I'm going to have to start thinking strategically. I have to think about my ones, I have to think about my tens. All of a sudden we're moving into quite a high ceiling here. We're probably looking also at some strategic thinking. How about doing some trial and improvement? Put a number in, add them together, see what I get. And then if they do get to reach 100, and well done if you get that, it's a great feeling, I can tell you. But if you do get to 100, is it the only possible solution? So we're then moving them from I've got an answer to is it the only possible answer, and how many answers are there? And if you really want to stretch them, how about they come up with their own problem? This is Reach 100. What other problems could they set, and can they write solutions for others? Now this is just one example of a low threshold, high ceiling activity that we've got on NRICH. And to make it easier for teachers, what we've done is we've organised them all onto a curriculum map. If you go to NRICH, click on the teacher page, it will take you straight to the curriculum maps, whether you teach primary or secondary, and you can find lots of these activities. And once you've found an activity, and you might want to start with Reach 100, have a look at the teacher notes. We've gone through on the teacher notes how to take the activity from a low threshold to the high ceiling. We've got support notes and extension ideas. But what's also really special about NRICH is that we have solutions sent in by children themselves. So if you've got someone who's struggling, you can give them a starting point. But also if you've got someone who's a high achiever and has got an answer, why not show them someone else's solution? Are their solutions better? Can they refine them? Maybe they could try this problem again in a different way. But whichever way you go about it, low threshold, high ceiling activities are fantastic for whole class teaching, making sure that you meet the needs of all your students. So please, go and have a try, look at the curriculum map and bring low threshold, high ceiling activities to your classroom.